Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Representative Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Secretary, I thank you for coming before the committee and for your introductory remarks recognizing the outstanding service of our chair, of our former chair, Mr. Young, who was a dear friend, and the work of this committee. Last time I think we spoke, you called me about supporting the bill from the Senate, and I told you I couldn't do it because I was supportive of my chairman and the hard work of this committee. Forget about all that. I voted for the bill. We had a hearing last week on highlighting the impact of outdated road design in the highway safety crisis. We learned the speed is a factor, both in increasing the risk of crashes and the severity. Certain high crash risks locations are responsible for a disproportionate number of fatalities and serious injuries. Memphis, unfortunately, was recently rated the third worst city for pedestrian injuries and accidents. Senator Markey and I got the Complete Streets Act passed, and as part of the, got it into the Jobs Act, and so a certain percentage of money has to go toward those projects. How will Complete Streets planning initiatives included in the Jobs Act change the way we design our roadways and prioritize safety and access for all users over speed?
Well, as you correctly point out, speed is a factor in so many of the roadway fatalities that we experience in the U.S. And having an approach to road design that recognizes that not only what's in the car, not only who's in the car, but the road itself and how it's designed can play a major role in safety. We think we have a safety responsibility to support Complete Streets. And indeed, there are a number of provisions in the bipartisan infrastructure law, as you know, that encourage state, tribal, and local governments to develop Complete Streets standards or policies and plans that prioritize Complete Streets projects. I would point also to the economic benefits of that. Certainly was my own experience in my hometown where we applied what you could think of as a Complete Streets treatment to a downtown thoroughfare and saw a lot of benefit to small business from there being more foot traffic because people felt safer walking along the street once it had gone through those upgrades. We have delivered the report to Congress that was called for, called Moving to a Complete Streets Design Model, which offers the Federal Highway Administration's guidance and identifies some of the resources that can be helpful here. We don't aim to prescribe all of the details about what makes for a good complete street. We know that local jurisdictions will come up with their own ideas, but we wanted to provide a framework and provide support. And I would also emphasize, among other funding sources that would be a legitimate application for complete streets. Certainly with the Safe Streets and Roads for All program, which is $1 billion annually over the next 5 years, I think that's one area where a well-considered Complete Streets plan will score quite well.
Thank you, sir. I just hope that you would concentrate or put specific focus on road corridors that are the most serious problems based on high risk, and of course that would include Memphis, but I know you'll do that. Can I go to lightning rod round here? Passenger rail is important for the people in my city and my state. We'd like to connect Memphis and Nashville. Those are two of the iconic large cities in the South that are not connected while most are. Are there funds that are in the bill that would help Tennessee pursue intercity passenger rail service between Nashville and Memphis?
Certainly, the bill providing for greater investment in passenger rail than we've seen since the inception of Amtrak certainly contains funds where I would expect that anyone with a vision for intercity rail like that will be interested in applying, and we'll be interested to see what.
I hope you'll help. I don't know if you're a fan of country music or not, but country music says there's more songs about leaving Nashville and more songs about going to Memphis than anything else. So it would be an important corridor. Airports are important too. And unfortunately, we do not have a direct flight from Memphis to Nashville any longer because we're no longer a hub city. We applied for an airport grant, and I appreciate your nonpartisanship in giving $5 million to Chattanooga and getting that money out, but it detoured, it didn't get to Memphis. Can you give me some kind of an idea about what Memphis might be able to do to receive a second round funding? Our airport is older. It's in a seismic zone with this Madrid fault and possible earthquake. And we have a very poor population and a low income. Memphis is an ideal city to get help. Can you give me some idea about how Memphis might receive that?
Yes, there are several funds that have become available through the infrastructure law in addition to the ongoing availability of the airport improvement program. And so would certainly welcome applications from those applicants who didn't make it in the last round of the airport terminal program. We've got several more rounds to go, and it was certainly oversubscribed. We'd love to fund as many of those projects as we can, as well as that's where most of the passenger-facing investments would be out of the airport terminal program. But for other improvements from tarmac to apron to runway to tower, there are a lot of additional resources now available thanks to the infrastructure law that could also be areas where they might want to apply.
Thank you. My time's expired, but I want to re-thank you for coming to Memphis when the bridge closed down and for visiting FedEx and for getting part of the underrides bill and implementing it in the bipartisan act. Thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Representative Massey.